Hello, everyone, and welcome to this great online event that we are hosting tonight specific for our transfer student audience. My name is Ricky Hill, your e-recruiter here at UC Merced. A very big welcome to you tonight. We will be talking about presenting yourself on the UC application. We have so much information for you tonight, so definitely fasten your seatbelt, get your smartphone ready in case there's a particular slide that you would like to take a picture of to reference later on. And also a quick note, we are recording this event tonight, so you will have this at your fingertips in about a day or so. We will link this over to the events page on the admissions website, and we can drop that link to you over in the chat box momentarily. And that is actually the same place that you went to register for this event, so you should be familiar. You'll be able to find that instant replay link there in just about a day, and then you'll be able to rewatch this and pause it along the way if you need to. Once again, my name's Ricky Hill, your e-recruiter. Before we get started, let me go ahead and give you a couple of quick Zoom refreshers. If you need to adjust your audio settings, go ahead and hop down into the lower left corner of your screen to make those settings there. If at any point you would like to zoom up into your screen a bit closer, go ahead and click on View Options in the upper portion of your screen. Lastly, and most importantly, one of our favorite parts of these online virtual events is the question and answer session. That is the time when you get to send in your questions and we get to those. That way we can answer those for you if you have something in particular that maybe we don't cover during the presentation. So make sure you click on that Q&A button, send in those questions, and we will get to those at the end in a special segment saved just for the question and answers. All right, that about does it for me. Let me go ahead and hand things over to my dear friend, Sheila.
Thank you, Ricky. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for this webinar. My name is Sheila Zhang, and I'm the Assistant Director of Transfer Initiatives at UC Merced. I work primarily with transfer students throughout the state and on transfer efforts at UC Merced. Fun fact, I am also a UC Merced alumna, so go Bobcats. It's really great to just be presenting this information to you all as you get ready to apply for fall 2024. I'm also co-presenting tonight with my colleague Marceni, so I'm going to pass the mic over to Marceni to introduce herself and get this presentation started.
Thank you, Sheila. Hi, everyone. My name is Marceni Martinez, and I'm the transfer advisor for the Northern Central Valley region. So I serve students from the Sacramento to Modesto area. And a fun fact about me is that I was a transfer student. All right, so let's get started with this presentation. All right, so here on this screen, as you can see, is a screenshot of the application showing the locations of the 9 undergraduate campuses available to freshmen or transfer admission. This map will display depending on the resolution and screen size of the computer or mobile device that you are using. The UC is one of the largest university systems in the world, offering undergraduate and graduate programs on campuses located across the state. Applicants are encouraged to apply to more than one UC campus, and this will significantly increase your chances of being admitted to the UC system. While you may not receive an offer of admission from your first choice campus, all of the campuses, without exception, provide outstanding opportunities for you to learn and grow. All right, the UC application and admission process is a year-long cycle. Applicants may submit only one application per term. So the UC application timeline is shown on the slide, as you can see. Please note that UC does not offer early action or early decision. So starting with August 1st, this is when the UC application opens. Some campuses may accept the winter/spring applications for transfers. The application typically opens July 1st and is due by July 31st. In the month of September, transfer applicants interested in tag must submit a tag application between September 1 through 30th, and they must also submit a UC application during the filing period. Tag campuses include Davis, Irvine, Merced, Riverside, Santa Barbara, and Santa Cruz. From October 1st to November 30th is when UC students can submit applications. The deadline remains November 30th, and applicants are not considered on a first served basis. So applicants should take their time in filing and filling out the application thoroughly before submitting. The month of December through March 2nd is all students should submit a free application for federal student aid, also known as FAFSA, or a California Dream Act application. The majority of students at UC receive financial aid and scholarships. We'll cover this a little bit more in detail later on in this presentation. The campuses use the information from the FAFSA and the California Dream Act for both admission and scholarships. January 31st, transfer students who apply for fall admission will be asked to update their applications through the UC Transfer Academic Update, which is also known as a TAU, process by the end of January. Once they log into their application, they will be able to give UC their final grades from the previous fall, as well as list of all courses in progress or planned for winter and or for spring. All students must submit a TAU even if not enrolled in any courses in the spring term. The priority submission deadline is January 31st, and the Transfer Academic Update form is open until March 31st. Failure to submit the form may jeopardize a student's chances of admission. The transfer admission decisions are released throughout the month of April, and campuses do not all release decisions on the same day, but will have the transfer decisions released by April 30th. June 1st, this is the deadline for transfer students to submit the Statement of Intent to Register, also known as the SIR. Students must submit their SIR by the date in order to ensure a place on campus in the fall. Students may only SIR to one UC campus. The SIR deposit is $250, but eligible students can have their SIR deposit fee deferred until the fall. I would like to mention that anyone admitted at a later time, so for example, maybe a student was on a wait list, will have a different SIR deadline. And for the month of July, campuses use self-reported information to admit students. So UC does not require nor want students to submit any transcripts when they apply for admission. Instead, UC will ask for official transcripts only for admitted students who have submitted their SIR by June 1st. Official transcripts for all institutions attended are due July 1st, with the AP or IB exam results and any other certifications, such as the IGETC, due by July 15th. Begin preparing for the application now. Don't wait until the end of October or November. Students should research the campus now and apply broadly across the system to be able to learn more about the majors that are offered and all types of courses needed to earn the UC degree, to be fully informed about graduation requirements and plan how long it may take to graduate. Some majors have different names across the system and may be located in different departments. Also, some majors are not open for every term, so important to keep that in mind. And also gather materials that will be needed. So for example, transcripts, academic records, a list of current and planned courses, awards and honors, volunteer program timelines and hours, employment timeline and hours, etc. These should focus on what you have done after high school, but think broadly about your life and experiences outside of your community college. Include work experience, family responsibilities, community activities, etc. And again, official transcripts should not be sent with your UC application. Your UC application will be reviewed using the self-reported academic history you have provided. Responses to the personal insight questions are important. So write responses early, refer to the UC's online resources for writing tips, a worksheet, and a video to get help started. Next slide, please. All right, students must thoroughly complete all sections of application and do accurately. This is a student's opportunity to tell the admission staff about personal details that make each applicant unique. So for example, in the academic history, students must be accurately reporting all of the schools that they have attended, all the courses, all the grades they've received. Even if they have repeated a course, if a student accepts an offer of admission, UC requires official academic records to verify the information reported. The additional comments box in the academic history section can be used to provide detailed information or explanations about specific academic issues. So for example, declining grades, course selection issues, etc. And lastly, the activities/awards. Applicants should not exaggerate or fabricate awards or activities because the information submitted is subject to verification. In fact, UC does verify information that students report on the application, and it is important that students do not misrepresent or put falsely information, as this is a serious offense and it will result in serious consequences. And lastly, just remember, honest is the best policy. All right, so on this section here, as you can see, is the application resources that can be found on the UC admissions website and on the UC application website. So it provides more information on freshman admissions, transfer admissions, applying as an international student, or how to apply for financial aid. Okay, now let's move on to transfer admission. While there may be a few options to transfer to UC before reaching junior status, most UC campuses are primarily looking for junior level transfer applicants. Transfer students meet requirements in 3 areas to meet minimum UC junior transfer requirements: a specific pattern of courses, a minimum number of units, and a minimum number of GPA. These requirements must be completed by the last regular term prior to transfer. UC will first review your courses to verify that you are meeting the 7-course pattern, and we will go into detail in the next slide, but know that these 7 courses are required. However, in order to meet the unit requirement, you'll need more than these 7 courses. The rest of your courses can come from general education courses or from courses that prepare you for your major or both. In addition, students will complete 60 semester or 90 quarter units of UC transferable college credit. This is about 2 years worth of full-time study, but can be less if a student has dual enrollment college credit or has like AP or IB exam scores. No more than 14 semester or 21 quarter units of the required 60 units may be taken with pass or no pass, unless a student is transferring from a college or university that awards only pass credit. Students must have a transferable GPA of at least 2.4 or 2.8 for non-residents. I'd also like to note that all students must be in a good academic standing, so having a 2 GPA or better at the last institution of attendance and at any previous UC campus where the student was enrolled in a regular term. So for example, fall, winter, or spring. All right. Meeting the minimum transfer requirements alone is generally not enough to be a competitive applicant for selection. Competitive students will not only have all required major preparation completed, but will also have as many recommended major preparation courses completed as possible. Major preparation coursework may be required by each campus for your intended major. Major preparation is important not only for admission, but to ensure that you are prepared for a successful transition into the major once at UC. You can view UC's transfers pathways for a roadmap to some of the most popular majors. However, it is important that you check with the campuses that you are interested in applying in order to learn more about which majors are selective at the transfer level and what courses are recommended or required for admission to your intended major. Many majors are highly selective with average GPAs for admitted transfer students above 3.0. In these cases, the GPA overall and in the major become important factors in selection. Finally, IGETC is not an admission requirement. However, some majors at some campuses may encourage students to complete IGETC certification prior to UC enrollment. Some campuses may not accept IGETC or may not accept partial IGETC. Students should stay in regular contact with UC campus admission representatives for current information on selective majors. and how students can best prepare to be competitive candidates. Campuses use multiple factors when selecting students. The way in which campuses select students varies, and it is to the student's advantage to include as much information as possible on the application. Admission representatives want to know about the experiences, accomplishments, and challenges of every applicant. Each campus will provide their own individual review of the application independently from one another, which means that they're going to review the information in the application and select students without asking any other campus their decision. So, for example, Berkeley will not call Los Angeles and ask if they have admitted a certain student. Each campus selects students independently. So as with first-year admission, campuses are looking for well-qualified transfer students who have taken advantage of the educational opportunities presented to them, both inside and outside of the classroom. The factors in three major categories, such as academic accomplishments, extracurricular activities, and additional information. The faculty approved comprehensive review factors for transfers, which include the 7-course pattern, major preparation, grade point average, participation in honors courses or programs, special talents, achievements, and awards, complete of special projects, academic accomplishments in light of life experiences and special circumstances, location of the college and your residence, and completion of a UC transfer pathway or associate degree for a transfer. These factors are intended to help readers gain more insight into academic and personal context of students in their own environment. Next slide, please. All right, now let's move on to starting the UC application. Okay, let's start with the basics. The UC Online application functions with the following browser versions. So Chrome 1.14 or newer, Edge 1.14 or newer, Firefox 1.14 or newer, or Safari 16 or newer. Our application uses JavaScript web page functionality and requires cookies. Please make sure that JavaScript and cookies are enabled on your browser. And because it is important to protect the information you provide, the online application is extremely secure. So secure that, in fact, the older browsers are not equipped to handle our level of encryption. Please download one of the browser versions listed above to ensure maximum security. Also, the application is mobile friendly, so you can use your tablet or any other devices. And please keep in mind that after 20 minutes of inactivity, the system will time out. So make sure that you always have that. And all descriptions and PIQ responses have character or word counts to show remaining available space. And lastly, in order not to time out, you will need to click Save and Continue. If you do not, any information you've entered since the last save will be lost. Let's start your UC application. You'll have to go to apply.universityofcalifornia.edu. New users must enter a unique email address and password. Students should use an email account they will be checking after finishing their current college. Applicants will use the same account if they apply in the future again. And passwords must be at least 8 characters and include a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers and symbols, and special characters. Create a secret question and answer combination that will be easily remembered. So make sure to write that down. Be sure to keep login information safe. Once you create a new account, that it's complete, an email confirmation will be sent to you. Campuses use email to send critical information, time-sensitive correspondence to applicants. So provide an email address that is checked regularly, and you will be kept until enrolling to your 4-year university. First-time users start by clicking Create a New Account. On return visit, enter email and password information under Sign In. All right. So students must select the appropriate level for which they are applying. As you can see here on the screen, you'll have the options A student who has enrolled in regular terms, such as fall, winter, or spring at a college or university after graduating from high school should apply as a transfer student. Most campuses consider students at the junior level only, but certain programs and campuses may also consider sophomore and senior transfers. Please note that students with community college coursework only, regardless of the number of units completed at the community college, are not senior level transfers and should not check the senior level transfer button. Indicating senior level transfer will significantly just reduce the student's transfer options. Only UC coursework, both lower and upper division coursework from other four-year institutions can jeopardize a student's junior standing. So if the student wants to refer to a prior application, the option to do so also appears on the screen. The navigation bar is on the right side of the screen. This is where students can complete the application in any order, but should complete the About You section first, as it contains chronological logic, which will be used throughout the application. All right, now let's move on to the About You section. When completing your personal details, applicants have the option to indicate a lived or preferred name. A lived or preferred name is a name that you go by that is different than your legal name. So for example, it can be a middle name that you go by or a name that aligns with your gender identity. If you enter a lived name, we'll use it in most of our communications with you about the application, except when it's required for us to use your legal name. If your legal name is a name you go by, you can select no here and move forward. Do not enter your same legal name twice. All right, so on this side of the application, applicants must select a country of citizenship from the country drop-down menu. Students who are U.S. citizens will have follow-up questions about tribal affiliation. This response, along with California residency status determined by the Statement of Legal Residence information, will determine whether the student qualifies for the Native American Opportunity Program. Those who choose a country other than the United States will have a follow-up questions on permanent residency and or visa status. For undocumented students, for the country of citizenship, select no selection and follow the directions for the Social Security below. All applicants who have a Social Security are required to enter it. For DACA students, enter a valid Social Security, the Social Security for work purposes or ITIN if available. Otherwise, leave it blank. If an applicant does not have a Social Security, he or she may skip that item. We just use the Social Security to accurately merge test scores if there were any submitted, and the federal financial aid application with the admission application. So Social Security for Social Security for work purposes, and the ITIN number are encrypted and kept secure. All right, let's go over the household. So this is the view for students who are under 24, and so they are categorized as dependent students. Entering parental information and their relationship to students helps campus admission staff better understand the family context of applicants. You can enter up to 2 parents or guardians. For more information, students can click the I icon. This information is not used to determine residency status or eligibility for financial aid. Okay, so if a student is over 24, they will not be asked for parental information. This is the view for an independent student. For more information, students can click on the I icon, and this information is not used to determine, again, residency status or eligibility for financial aid. So this is new for fall 2024. Dependent students have the option to submit contact information for their parents. This is optional and will not influence the admission process. Doing so allows the campuses the option to send parents information about admissions, updates, and information, though they will not receive information about your application or admission decision. All right, in this section here, UC will collect information about the application to help determine residency for tuition purposes. So students must choose whether they would like to be evaluated for California residency for tuition purposes or not. So if a student clicks, yes, I want to be considered for California residency for tuition purposes, selecting this option will bring up additional questions about the students and their parents or their legal guardians' physical presence in California. If a student selects no, then they will select the reason why they do not want to be evaluated for California residency. And they will also need to acknowledge that by selecting no, they will be classified as a non-resident for tuition purposes. Undocumented students can refer to our guide linked in the application for further details. The next few slides will go into further detail. So again, here with the question of, yes, I want to be considered for California residency for tuition purposes. Again, selecting this option will bring up additional questions about the students and parents or legal guardians' physical presence in California. But please note that different prompts will appear for the requested parent information depending on whether the applicant's parents are married and or live together. Additional documentation or information may be requested by the campuses for students who wish to be evaluated for California residency. Be sure to respond to any request in a timely manner. On this section, if student replies with no, I do not want to be evaluated for California residency for tuition purposes. Again, if they select this, they will be asked why they are selecting no. And they will also need to acknowledge that they are selecting the no option. They will be considered classified as a non-resident for tuition purposes. Moving on, so undocumented students should answer questions as suggested above, assuming they have maintained a presence in California and have attending a California high school. These students will need to provide additional information after admission to the campus registrar's office where they choose to enroll. All right, let's move on to campuses and majors. Okay, so as a reminder, students only need to submit one UC application. You can choose to send it to as many of the UC campuses as you would like. There's a fee associated with each campus you select, which is $80 per campus or $95 per campus for international applicants. But a fee waiver is available for eligible students that will waive the application fee for up to 4 campuses. Eligibility for the fee waiver is determined by family and financial information provided within the UC application. Importantly, though, you will be able to apply to multiple UC campuses at once. You do not need to quote unquote rank them or indicate any campus preference. All campuses who receive your application will give it a thorough and careful review independently from one another. You are encouraged to apply broadly across the UC to increase your chances of being admitted to the UC system. All of our campuses, without exception, providing outstanding opportunities for you to learn and grow. And hint, if only a few campuses show as open, this might mean that you indicated either a sophomore or senior level transfer option, or you are applying during the winter or spring term. All right, so once you've selected your campus choices, applicants will need to indicate a major selection for each campus. The default view is college view, which shows you all available majors by their college placement. By default, closed majors will not appear unless you choose to select the checkbox that reads Show Closed Majors. You do not need to select the same or similar major at each UC campus you've selected. However, transfer applicants should be advised that they need to have the appropriate major preparation for the major or majors that they have selected within the UC application, because this is an important factor in transfer admission. If preferred, applicants can view available majors for each campus by category instead of college. then this may be helpful if you don't know which college a particular major falls under. Next. All right, so students can select both a major and an alternative major. If a campus is unable to offer the applicant a place in the first choice major, they may consider them for an alternative major. But be sure that the alternative major is in a subject area that the student really wants to study and that they have appropriate major prep for. And in some cases, it should be a different area of study than the primary major. Note that not all campuses will consider students for an alternative major, and that some campuses may have restrictions on changing majors once admitted to the major. Okay, so if a student is applying to UC San Diego, they must rank the colleges in order of preference to have the best chance of assignment of the college of their choice. The order of ranking of colleges does not affect the chances for admission to UC San Diego. And the boxes to rank the colleges only appear once the student clicks on the Learn More About UCSD College System link, which opens a pop-up window. Students should carefully read the information provided to understand the theme of each college at UC San Diego. All majors are available in all of the colleges, and each of the undergraduate colleges has its own campus, neighborhood, residence facilities, staff, traditions, general education requirements, and distinctive educational philosophy. Some majors may require applicants to submit a supplemental application or materials. If so, applicants will see messaging in the UC application when selecting that major. Requirements and deadlines for supplemental applications will vary campus by and program, so please keep that in mind. And now I will pass it on to my colleague, Sheila, and she will talk a little bit more the academic history section. Thank you.
Thank you, Marsani. All right, now we're going to talk about the academic history section. So let's move to the next slide. If you have created a UC Transfer Admission Planner or UC TAP account and have been entering your academic information into UC TAP, a feature that you can use in the admission application here allows you to import your courses and grades directly from TAP. So for those of you who have a TAP and have been updating it, you can utilize this function to import your courses. It's important to note that the information is updated daily each morning with the previous data. So if you did update your TAP today, you will have to wait 24 hours until the next day before you can re-import courses from TAP to your application. Once you import your TAP academic record into the application, any further information added into UC TAP will not be reflected, so you need to make sure that you edit the information directly in the application. In order to import the coursework, you must use your UC TAP ID and email address from the TAP account from when you started the UC admission application. So just make sure that your TAP email address and ID is correct for what you've used for the TAP. We're going to go ahead and drop the link for the UC TAP. If you have it, you can import it into your application. If you don't have a TAP, don't worry about it. There are other ways you can include your information in this academic history section. So in this section here, we're going to go over how you can add the colleges you've attended. Remember that you need to list every college or university that you have attended, including any that you've attended outside of the US. You can search for the school name by the name of the school, the city, or if you know the school's SEEB code, you can input that there to search for the school. If you can't find the school, you can add it by typing the full name of the school and clicking add. All right, so once all of your colleges have been selected, you will have the opportunity to select the dates of attendance, the grading system, and level of degree or certification that you have received from that campus. Please make sure that your dates of attendance are correct as consecutive dates, even if your enrollment was interrupted or at a different institution, need to be consecutive. Students earning an associate's degree for transfer or UC transfer pathway associate's degree will be able to provide this information here in the college information section along with the name of the major. You can also indicate here if the term has changed. So for example, if your school went from a quarter to a semester system, this is where you will indicate that information. It's really important to note that if you attended a college while in high school and earned credits, you need to include that information, even though those college courses were taken in high school. Therefore, your dates of attendance should match all terms enrolled in that college, including the terms while in high school. All right. So there is a maximum of 5 community college degree levels, and currently there are 2 UC transfer pathways majors. So a possible maximum of 7 for community colleges for both the associate's degree for transfer and UC transfer pathway associate's degree. This screenshot shows how you can report your degrees for an associate for transfer or a UC transfer pathway associate's degree. So if you do have or you are planning to receive any of the associate's degree, this is how you would report that information. All right. In this next section here, we're going to take a look at the screenshot for how you would input your courses. For your courses, make sure that you are reporting all courses to reflect your academic transcript. For those of you who have community college courses, the transferable course list for community colleges are directly pulled from the ASSIST database. So if your course shows on assist.org, that course will pull up on the application. Each department can be expanded to display the transferable courses by clicking on the plus or the little sign here. So for example, if you click on business accounting, it'll give you a drop down of all of the courses available that are transferable in that area. Make sure that you are using your unofficial transcripts to ensure that you are reporting the correct term, course number, title, units, and grades received for each of your courses. Grades are listed for applicant, grade codes are listed for you. So the grade codes for your campus will drop down when you select a grade. You should make sure that you are reporting all grades the way they show on your transcript. If you have academic renewals for your grades, even if the academic renewal has been approved, you will need to report those as well. And then for all students, so if you have courses or you are a transfer student coming from a CSU or a UC, you still need to make sure that you are entering all courses, even if you think they're transferable or not. So I think the most important point here is make sure that when you are inputting in your courses in the academic history, that it matches your transcript. It doesn't matter if you think the course is transferable or non-transferable. You want to include everything. So every single course from every single institution that you've attended on your academic history section in the application. If for whatever reason your course is not showing up when you're typing it, that means that the course is not transferable or it is a non-California community college course. In this case, you will want to enter the coursework manually, and this is how you would do it. You will click on I don't see my courses. You'll need to put down the department, course number, course title, the units, and the grade that you received, and you'll need to save and continue. This will allow you to manually add the course into your academic history section. If there is a gap in attendance, you will be prompted to explain why you were not enrolled during this time. If you think that you made an error, so for example, there was a semester that you forgot to add, you can go back and adjust the dates in terms of attendance for the appropriate college and term, and then enter that coursework with the letter grades that reflect that term. If you do have a gap in education, please provide us with as much information as you feel comfortable. The main point here is we want to make sure that you were not enrolled anywhere else and taking courses that are not being reported in the application. So if you took a gap because you were focusing on work or focusing on yourself, please provide us with as much information as you feel comfortable as to why there is a gap in your enrollment. The next section here is going to take a look at the UC English and the UC Math requirements. If the coursework you enter indicates that you have met the minimum English and minimum math requirements to transfer to UC, you will not see this screen. However, if we think that there are coursework missing for the required English or math courses, you will need to indicate it here. So on this screen here, if your courses are showing up and they're not registering as the English or math requirement equivalent courses, you'll need to select this. So if you have the first UC English and you've already completed it, you can mark it. So you'll mark the English and the math requirements accordingly to if you've completed, plan to complete, or have the courses in progress. All right. This next section here is the additional comment section. There is a question that asks you to disclose any terms that you have been on academic probation if it's applicable to you. This will not disqualify you from being admitted. It's just a question that's on the application. It's not going to impact your eligibility. So don't be surprised if you see this. Just go ahead and answer the question if you have been on academic probation or not. We look at this section here more so for any abnormalities in your academic records, such as like a break in attendance, poor grades, or anything. So in this academic history additional information, you can provide us with anything that you like us to know regarding your academic history. It's important to note that on the application, there are 2 additional comment sections. One is in the academic history portion, and then the other additional comments come at the end after the PIQs. This first additional comment section here is specific to your academic history. So you want to make sure that in this section here, you're addressing anything that has to do with your academic performance. All right, test scores. This section is going to be where you will report any AP or IB test scores, as well as any language acquisition tests that you have. So if you attended high school or secondary school or college, university coursework that was not conducted in English, and you are not a native English speaker, you will be asked to provide TOEFL or IELTS or DET, any English language proficiency test in the application. If you have any additional language courses or tests, exams that you want to provide, this is where you will drop it in as well. Okay, so in this section here, we're going to talk about activities and awards. For activities and awards, there are 5 categories in the section that you can choose from. We recommend that you choose experiences that have meaning, that illustrate interest, and or demonstrate leadership. You will have 20 spaces to enter your activities. However, not all 20 entries have to be from the same category. So in this screenshot here, you can see that the categories include awards or honors, educational preparation program, extracurricular activity, work experience, volunteer, community service. If there are any activities and awards in these categories that you want to include, please feel free to do so. And also some tips is to provide us with as much information and explain the level of involvement and detail, and avoid using acronyms. So if you were in a club, don't use the acronym of the club. Please spell out the entire name of the club or the organization that you were involved in and provide us with as much information. All right, let's move on to the next slide so we can see what that looks like when you have to fill it out. All right, so once again, make sure to describe the activity, focus on your role and responsibilities and accomplishments in the activity rather than describing the activity. So if you say I was part of the engineering club. Okay, what was your role in the engineering club? Did you have a leadership role? Were you involved in an initiative, starting a program, leading an event? And how long did you participate in there? So in this Once you select your category, you'll be asked additional questions that will focus more on providing information just about that activity and your involvement. All right, next section. If you participated in an educational preparation program and you select that category, there is a drop-down list that you can choose from. For those of you who have been working with a UC Merced transfer advisor, anyone on our team, the UC Merced preparation program is UC Merced Transfer Initiative Program. So if you have been involved in our TIP program, our summer programs, or any of our events for UC Merced transfer students, you can select UC Merced Transfer Initiative Program. All right, now let's move on to this next section where we're going to talk about scholarships. So all UC campuses offer scholarships for students who meet specific criteria. There is a category specifically for transfer students, but you are not limited to just this category. You can choose anything from, academic major of interest, affiliations with groups, programs, organizations, career goals, extracurricular activities, school or geographic affiliation. So there are several categories that you can choose from to be considered for scholarships and programs. You can choose as many as you identify with, so there is no limit to the amount of scholarships that you can choose in the UC application. It is really important to note that this part here is not the financial aid application. This is just you selecting to be considered for scholarships available at a UC campus. You will need to complete the financial aid application separately, which is used to determine your financial aid. So this here is not your financial aid application. All right, next slide. Okay, so we are reaching the end of the application. When you get to the PIQs, this is like the end of the UC application. For transfer students, there is one required question, and then you can choose from 3 of the additional 7 questions to choose from. The PIQs are really important because it's another opportunity for us to learn more about who you are as an individual. This is the written section of the UC application, and think of it as your opportunity to share more information that you weren't able to in the UC application. All questions hold equal value, so it doesn't matter which question you choose from. For the remaining 7 questions, there are 350 word max limit for the questions that you have for the PIQs. And don't worry about the wordiness, right? We're not looking to make sure that you've reached that 350 word count. When we're looking at your PIQs, we're really looking at the content and the context of the information that you provide us. We do have a PIQ guide on the UC website that you can utilize to help you formulate your responses. So we'll drop the link in the chat in just a second here for you to take a look at. All right. And then in this next slide here, it's a screenshot of what it looks like when you get to the PIQ section. So you'll see here you have the one required question as a transfer student that you must complete. And then you can select any of the additional 3 from the 7 questions. The questions all vary. Some of them ask you about your leadership skills and experiences, your creativity, any obstacles and challenges that you've overcome. So really pick the ones that you can best relate to and you feel like you can provide your story about who you are as an individual. Don't pick the same ones that your friends pick. Pick the ones that you can best relate to for the PIQs. And then in this next section here is the last additional comments box. You can use this additional comment section to explain any situation, circumstance, or experience that does not appear anywhere else in the application or has not been fully explained in the application. You can use this space if you've been significantly impacted beyond what other students have experienced. So if you want to talk about maybe your COVID-19 pandemic experience, how it may have impacted your schoolwork or anything else that you want us to know about, your academic experience or who you are as an individual, this is where you will put that additional comments in this section here. All right. So now that we've kind of gone through the different sections, we're going to look at submitting the application. Before you submit your application, you'll need to make sure that all sections have been completed fully. So you'll see here on this screen that there are check marks, the blue check marks in the circle. This indicates that all sections have been fully complete and you've filled all the information for each section. If you are missing a section, let's go on to the next slide, you will be missing the check marks here. So for example, this here is showing missing information for several categories in the application. Basically, what you'll need to do is if you are missing a section, you'll have to go back and see if, maybe you missed a term or you missed something, you'll need to complete it. Once it's complete, you'll see the blue circle with the check mark pop up next to that section. All right. So for missing information, sometimes it does include gaps in education. This here is really for your academic history. So if you did not explain your gaps in enrollment in your academic history section, in this academic review portion here, you will be asked to explain gaps in education. This is not going to disqualify you from being admitted. Once again, we just want to know why you were not enrolled. So if you were backpacking in Europe, that's fine. You can put that. If you were taking time off to focus on yourself or to work, or for whatever reason, that gap in education you can put that in there. And once again, please provide us with as much information as you feel comfortable. Lastly, you'll be asked to verify your units and applicant level. This is just really a quick verification that you are applying for the correct term and the correct level that you've indicated in your application, and that you've reported the correct units as well. All right, once you're done with that, you can save and continue, and then you'll be sent to the billing summary page. So for U.S. citizens or permanent resident students, the application fee is $80 per campus. So even though it's one application, it is $80 per campus. So if you're selecting different campuses, it's $80 per campus. If you are an international or non-immigrant applicant, the application fee is $95 per campus. If you are an international or non-immigrant student currently attending school in the U.S., you may be eligible to pay the lower application fee of $80 per campus, and the application tool will advise of the fee amount on this page here. There is a fee waiver that is automatically calculated for California and domestic residents. The fee waiver calculator is activated from the answers regarding your family size and income. If a fee waiver is granted, you can select yes to apply the fee waiver. So for example, if you are eligible for one fee waiver, you can click yes, and this will take the cost of one applicant fee for a campus. All right. Once you've gone through the fee waiver, you will be asked to provide payment methods or different types of payment methods. The application fee is required and it's non-refundable, and your payments may be submitted by credit card in the application tool or by mailing a check or fee waiver if a student didn't qualify for the UC application fee waiver but meets the criteria. All right. So once we've done that, there is the release, authorization, and statement of integrity. The application cannot be submitted without the applicant's electronic signature and acknowledgement of the statement of integrity. Therefore, you do need to complete this section here. The statement of integrity is to affirm that all information in the application is correct and true, and the PIQs were written by you. The signature releases will review and check the release authorizations to share your information with scholarship agencies, parents, guardians, counselors, and UC or other UC organizations and alum groups. And information in the application is subject to verification. So if you are selected for verification, non-compliance will result in cancellation of the application, and the application will not be fee will not be refunded. So there are a few things to read through for the release authorizations and statement of integrity. It's really important that you're reading through and checking each of these statements, and then also providing your electronic signature and your statement of integrity. All right. Once you're done, make sure that you complete or you keep your application ID in a secure place. This is going to be used throughout the admissions process. So for example, when you're emailing us, we're going to ask for your application ID number. It's really important that you just keep a screenshot of this information and make notes of anything such as, you know, the date that was submitted, your confirmation ID. All right. After you've submitted this, the date forwarded will look like this. You'll have the transfer academic update as well. So let's talk a little bit more about the transfer academic update. The transfer academic update is very important for transfer students. This is where you will update your fall grades and your spring coursework. So let's go ahead and take a look on the next slide. When entering in coursework, you'll review and update any information as needed. So for fall, for example, fall 2023, this is where you will put the letter grades that you received for your fall 2023 courses and where you will update your spring 2024 grades. The priority deadline for transfer students for the TAU is January 31st. However, you have until March to complete the TAU. The sooner you get your TAU in, the sooner we can review and complete your application. All right, next slide. This is just another screenshot of what it looks like for the TAU when you're going in to make the updates on the application. If there is any additional information that you want to provide us during the TAU regarding academic probation, transfer pathways, or additional comments, you can go ahead and do that. And then last but not least, you'll be asked to review and certify the accuracy of your TAU update. Once your TAU has been submitted, you will be able to see this change on your UC application. So on the right-hand side here, you can see when a TAU has been submitted. You can submit more than one TAU too. So for example, if you went ahead and entered your spring courses, but let's say you added another course, you can go back to your TAU to resubmit new information for the TAU. All right, now let's look at the next slide for resources. If you do have any questions regarding the application and you need help, please contact the help desk. You can go ahead and take a screenshot of this or take a picture with your phone. The help desk is going to be who you want to reach out to if you're having technical issues with your application. We have transfer admission resources as well. So if you're interested in just knowing about general admission information, or you're looking for admission requirements, or just the different sections on filling out the application, you can check out the resources available on the University of California website. There's a QR code here as well. So you can utilize these resources as you are preparing to transfer and filling out your application. All right, next slide. If you have a campus-specific question for one of the UC campuses, here are the links to our major preparation information. You can take a, screenshot or a picture of these links, but you can also check out each campus separately as well. And then here are some transfer programs and tools that you can utilize. So if you're trying to figure out whether your courses are transferable or not, there's assist.org, the Transfer Admission Planner, which can be used to help you track your minimum requirements, transfer pathways for those of you who are looking at ways on how to prepare to transfer to the UC, and then the tag, which guarantees your admission to one of the 6 participating UC campuses. And then last but not least, we have campus admission contacts. So if you're trying to get a hold of an admissions advisor or someone from one of the UC admission campuses, our contact information is listed here. And then that concludes our evening tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to Ricky.
Thank you so much, Sheila and Marceni, for that fantastic information-packed presentation tonight. So we do have a couple questions. We've been getting to those behind the scenes. And so thankfully, even though this presentation pretty much used up our entire hour, I do want to just take a look and see if there's any that we should be answering live here for you guys. And actually, while I'm doing that, let me actually move back just a couple slides here. This might be a good one to leave up for just another moment in case you all haven't had a chance to take a quick picture or maybe jot this down. So let's take a look here. We do have one question here. I'm going to go ahead, Sheila, and just read this one out, and maybe you can answer it this way. So the one that's up here on my screen is in the extracurricular section regarding education programs. How do you enter the hours? Apparently it asks for the hours per week and the weeks per year. And so what if that program was not actually a weekly program?
Yeah, that's a great question. Go ahead and estimate the average hours of the program that you participated in. And then you can put the hours for that week, right? So like within a week, if that program was 3 hours, you can put like 3 hours, but what's really important is to provide us with more context. So in that section, if you want to put like, I was part of this program, the program was a 1-day program and only 8 hours. It was not a weekly or hourly program. You can estimate the average hours by that week. So if in that 1 week, the program was just 3 hours, then you would just put 3 hours for that week.
Can we explain what the SIR is?
Yes, so the SIR is the statement of intent to register. This is basically you saying like, yes, I've been admitted and I want to come to your campus. So if you want to come to, or you want to come to our campus or to another campus, the SIR is you saying yes to that campus, which is why it's really important. So you need to submit your SIR because that is you saying, I'm coming, like hold my spot.
Very good. And then what happens if they try to transfer in with more than 60 semester units?
Yeah, so 60 semester units is the minimum unit requirement. If you have more than 60 semester units from a California community college, we will cap you at 70. That's only to make sure that you're coming in as a junior level transfer student. You still get subject credit for every single course that you've completed. So just know that 60 semester units is the minimum. If you have all California community college units that surpass the 60, you will still receive subject credit for it.
Very good. And then the last question I will toss out tonight is, where would I submit a letter of recommendation, or do we require those?
Yes, so the UC does not require letters of recommendations. You only need to make sure that you are completing the minimum UC transfer requirements and your major preparation. Depending on your major, you might need to provide supplemental information or do an audition or an interview. So those are majors kind of like the arts, dance, and film. But UC does not require or accept letters of recommendations for requirement of admissions.
Very good. Thank you so much, Sheila. And as our audience can see, I went ahead and transitioned to another slide that does have a QR code. So go ahead and take a quick moment and scan that so that you can save those links or just take a picture of that slide. And as I mentioned, this is also being recorded tonight, so it will be available as an on-demand instant replay on our YouTube channel. And our handle for that is @Life@UC Merced. And that link is over in the chat box. I'm going to go ahead and bounce over to one more slide here that does have a QR code. So you can go ahead and scan that, or once again, just take a quick picture for future reference. And I'll give you a few seconds for that. And once again, we did drop you some information into the chat box. So if you want to hop over there and click on some of those links as well, you will have those to bookmark and take a look at later. And also there's just this one slide, and there's one other that I do want to give you one last opportunity to take a quick picture of, because there are some very helpful links here in case you do have questions, as Sheila mentioned, that are specific to one of the UC campuses. Then you can go ahead and reference those. And one last slide I will pop over for you again. The URLs are pretty lengthy, so go ahead and take a moment, take a picture. And one last mention, in that chat box, we've dropped some other links over there for you as well. A jam-packed information presentation tonight, indeed. Thank you so much to Sheila and to Marcini for their wonderful presenting skills tonight. It is always so much fun and such an honor for me to be able to moderate and host these wonderful webinar events We hope to see you at another one very soon. We have 2 more this week, 3 next week, 3 the week after, all the way through the month of November. And we have a lot of these events, especially in November, that are specific to the application and to help you through each and every section. So if tonight's presentation was a bit overwhelming because we covered so much, everything start to finish, you are in luck because we have some other events coming up in future weeks that are an hour long and very detailed and specific to each section. So we'll spend an entire hour going over step by step with some good screenshots and some demonstrations that are live, as well as a Q&A section like tonight so that you can ask us specific questions on those sections of the application. My name is Ricky Hill, your e-recruiter. I hope to see you again very soon, either in person or on another future event. We hope that you have a great night. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.